not everyone who makes a mistake becomes a kafir. Especially in the issues which are detailed, where there has been a lot of dialogue or debate about. And then he says, وَلَيْسَ لِأَحَدٍ أَن يُكَفِّرَ أَحَدًا مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَإِنْ أَخْطَأَ وَإِنْ غَلَطَ حَتَّى تُقَامُ عَلَيْهِ الْحُجَّةُ وَتُبَيِّنْ لَهُ الْمَحَجَّةُ وَمَنْ ثَبَتَ إِسْلَامُهُ بِيَقِينٍ لَا يَزُولُ عَنْهُ بِالشَّكِّ بل لا يزول إلا بعد إقامة الحجة وإزالة الشبهة. إذن المجموع مجموع الفتاوى. He says, it is not for anyone to make takfir on any one of the Muslims if he commits a mistake or if he falls into a sin until the hujjah, the proofs, are established on this person. And the proofs are cleared to this person. You understand? That is why we said there's a difference between what? What is point number 3? The difference between the action and the doer. The action is kufr, there's no difference in that. But this person, Amr or Zayd or Fatima, the one who does this action, first, the hujjah has to be established on her or him, meaning the proofs have to be established on him or her from the Qur'an and the Sunnah that this action is kufr or shirk. And not just taking the mushaf, you take the Qur'an and you give it to him or her in Arabic, and he doesn't even know Arabic. And you say, oh, we established the proof on him, he's kafir now. No. And then you clarify to him the proofs which you established. You understand? He says, and the person, وَمَنْ ثَبَتَ إِسْلَامُهُ بِيَقِينٍ, the one who we know that he's a Muslim, for sure he's a Muslim. His Islam is not to be removed by doubts, shak. His Islam is not to be removed by doubts. In fact, it is not to be removed except بعد إقامة الحجة, after establishing the proofs to him, وإزالة الشبهة, and removing the doubts from him or her. Because someone might have the proof, but he doesn't know how to understand it. And you have to know that's the state of most Muslims today. He has the proof, but he has a wrong understanding of it. You understand? So you don't jump into declaring someone to be kafir except after this process. Establishing the proof and clearing the doubts. Establishing the proof and clearing the doubts. And then he said, also in Majmu' al-Fatawa, إن التكفير تكفير له شروط وموانع قد تنتفي في حق المعين. It has conditions and obstacles which might prevent the ruling on someone individual, that individual. وإن التكفير المطلق, and the general takfir which we mentioned, لا يعني تكفير المعين إلا إذا توفرت الشروط وانتفع الموانع. The general takfir we mentioned, we say shirk, this is shirk. We say this is kufr, this is sihr, this is this. It does not mean it is established on the individual except after the conditions are met and the obstacles are not there. He also said, فَالتَّكْفِيرُ الْمُعَيَّنِ, declaring an individual, specific individual, Amr or Hassan or Hussein or Ali or Khadija or whatever her name or his name is, declaring an individual to be kafir, takfir, min ha'ula'i al-juhal wa amthalihim, from these Muslims who are ignorant or like those or them, بحيث يحكم عليه بأنه من الكفار, such that you proclaim on him that now he is from the kuffar, not a Muslim anymore. لا يجوز الإقدام عليه إلا بعد أن تقوم على أحدهم الحجة الرسالية التي يتبين بها أنهم مخالفون للرسل. It is not allowed for someone to do that until you establish the proof on each of them. The proof of the Risala, the Qur'an and the Sunnah, which clarifies, establishing the proof and then clarification, which clarifies to them that they are opposing the message. وإن كانت هذه المقالة لا ريب أنها كفر, even though this action he does or these words he's saying or this belief he has is, there's no doubt it's kufr, like we said. وهذا الكلام في التكفير جميع المعينين, he says, and what we are saying, it applies on every individual who's a Muslim. Don't just take this, because some people, they say yes, we agree, but he only uses it for himself and his group and his family. But anyone else outside, he is quick to proclaim takfir on him or her. But for his family and those he wants, no, akhi, you have to establish the proof. But for King Fulan and Prime Minister Fulan, and no, he's kafir already. This is for everyone. That is the end of the words of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. وقال الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله ليس كل من وقع في الكفر وقع الكفر عليه. الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله, he said, not everyone who falls into an action of kufr, it doesn't mean that kufr falls on him. You understand? Meaning he's not labeled as a kafir. He's not labeled as a kafir. وقال الشيخ ابن عثيمين رحمه الله في الباب المفتوح, Shaykh ibn Uthaymin, he said, كل إنسان فعل مكفرا فلا بد أن لا يوجد فيه مانع من موانع التكفير. Anyone who does something which is kufr, for him to be proclaimed a kafir, then the obstacles of takfir, they have not to be there. Otherwise it's an obstacle. فلا بد من الكفر الصريح الذي لا يحتمل التأويل فلا يكفر صاحبه. He says it has to be kufr which is clear, which has no interpretation. وإن قلنا إنه كفر فيفرق بين القول والقائل وبين الفعل والفاعل. Even though we say this is kufr, but we have to distinguish between what? The statement and the one who said the statement. And we distinguish between what? The action and the doer of that action. Something very important. The ruling of an action and the ruling of the actor, the person who does that action. You can also say the ruling of the statement, which is kufr, and the ruling on the one who says that statement. And also you can say what? The ruling on the belief which he has and the difference between the one who has that belief. Which leads us to the next point, point number 5. Kufr, Ahlul Sunnah, we believe. Kufr, just like Iman, it can be in the heart, it's a belief, that's kufr or shirk. It can be by statements, and it can be by actions. Certain beliefs a person has, even if you don't say them, that is kufr. Certain statements, they are kufr or shirk. And also, obviously, actions. Belief in the heart, statements of the tongue, and actions of the limbs. Kufr can occur in any of those. Unlike what the Murji'ah say, the Murji'ah, they believe what? They believe Iman is what? Iman is just in the heart. So no matter what you do with your actions, as long as you has Iman in the heart, then you're still a Muslim. No, that is not true. That is not true. Ahlul Sunnah, we say kufr, it occurs in the heart by belief or by statement or by actions. Point number 6. Takfir is the duty of the scholars. It is the duty of the scholars. They are the ones who do this job of proclaiming individuals to be kafir or mushrik. By doing what? By establishing the proof and clearing the doubts. It's not for anyone or everyone. And when the people are not qualified, they go into this, then we have problems like we have today as Muslims. And this is the way of the Khawarij. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah says, فإن تسليط الجهال على تكفير علماء المسلمين من أعظم المنكرات وإنما أصل هذه من الخوارج والروافض الذين يكفرون أئمة المسلمين لما يعتقدون فيه من الدين. He says, Shaykh al-Islam, the juhal, the people are ignorant, going about and proclaiming the ulama to be kafir. It is from the greatest obscene actions which happen. He said, in the foundation of this, it came from the Khawarij and the Rawafid, Shi'atul Rafid. Those who have proclaimed the leaders and the scholars of this ummah to be kafir. That is why they started with the Sahaba. Shi'atul Rafid. Who did they leave? They only left 5 or 7 Sahaba. Only those are Muslim. Everyone else was kafir. Yadam billah. Now whoever you see does this today, he is following the Rafid. And the Khawarij, those who proclaim Ali radiallahu anhu was kafir, and Ibn Abbas was kafir, and Abdullah bin Amr was kafir, and the rest. They are the Muslims, the only ones who are going to Jannah. And the ulama are kuffar. If you see people today talking like that, you know. It's from that group. So that is point number. That's point number 5 or 6. That is the duty of the scholars. Some of you are not even writing, then you argue 5, 6. If you don't write, how are you going to remember? Geniuses maybe. You're memorizing everything. Hopefully. وقال الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله ولهذا فإني أنصح أولئك الشباب أن يتورعوا عن تبديع العلماء وتكفيرهم وأن يستمروا في طلب العلم حتى ينبغوا فيه وألا يغتروا بأنفسهم ويعرفوا حق العلماء وأسبقيتهم فيه. He says, because of this and due to this, I advise these young people that they should be cautious in proclaiming the scholars to be innovators or proclaiming takfir on the scholars. And that they, the young people, should continue seeking knowledge until they grow and they develop in the knowledge. And that they should not be deceived by themselves. And they should know the right of the scholars and the precedence they have. Someone who's been learning and seeking knowledge and delving into books for 40, 20, 50 years before you were born even. Then you come, and you read Arba'ina Nawawiyah, now you're giving fatwas. If you ask one of them about Tahara, simple issue about Tahara, he doesn't know. لكن is into takfir, Yadam billah. A'udhu billah. And you see the words of the Shaykh, very important. He mentioned one of the main things of these people. وَأَلَّا يَغْتَارُوا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Don't be deceived by yourself. That is the problem many of these people they have. They're deceived by themselves. They see themselves as the only ones. Those are 6 points. We pray Salat al-Isha and then we come back to the obstacles and the conditions of takfir, and we finish off inshallah. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت استغفرك وأتوب إليك. أذن